Train the muscles, not the joints. So from time to time, I get messages from people asking me total left brain questions where they're like, exactly how much protein should I have per day? Exactly how much carbs should I have? How much fats? All this kind of thing. And really what I wanted to do is make a video today about how people overcomplicate things. Ultimately, what you want to do is conduct your own experiment, because nobody can tell you the exact number that is right for you, because there are a lot of variables that are taken into account when you do your training program, okay? So there are generalities that people can give you, but ultimately you're gonna have to find out for yourself. Nobody can take that experiment away from you. So ultimately what I'm gonna say to you are some general guidelines on your diet or what you eat to start with, but you're going to have to adjust the nutrients depending on what your goals are and adjust the caloric requirements based on your energy intake and all this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna share with you what I did, okay? All I did, and this is extremely simple, but all I did was start with a gram per pound of body weight of protein. So say I was 180 pounds at the time, I had about around 160 grams of protein, because 10%, 20% body fat. So it was around there, but it wasn't an exact science. All I did was say, these are good quality foods. I feel great when I'm in the gym when I eat them. Okay, so when I had carbohydrates or starch and I had protein and I had that 5 to 6 times a day, I felt better, stronger, and more pumped when I was in the gym. This is a good indicator that you're eating properly in order to gain muscle. Okay, so that's a big thing that you have to take into account. You can't just say, okay, what's going to establish a result 3 months down the road? Because feeling like crap just so you can lose some body weight is not necessarily going to lead you to more muscle mass gains, which will in the end give you more of a bodybuilder and lean physique, okay? More rounded and baloney and all this kind of stuff. So I find that a lot of people are getting obsessed with the details, but instead of conducting their own experiment, they're just saying, how do I get it right from the get-go? And that's like saying, I'm not gonna drive my race car on the track because I wanna make sure it's perfect first, and then from there, I'm gonna drive it around the track and then find out what happens. No, everybody starts off with a template. You have to start off with a template. So I would recommend for beginners out there that wanna gain muscle mass and start to lose a bit of body fat is this, okay? Start with about 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein, and I mean lean body weight. So if you're 160 pounds and you've got 15% body fat, guess what? You're around 140 grams per protein per day, okay? Now, the average pound of meat has 80 grams of protein. So take that into account. Egg whites, I believe, have around 1.5, 2 grams or something like that of protein per egg white. Take this into account. So this is where you center your diet around. Now split that protein up amongst 5 or 6 meals a day, and then add some starch and some green vegetables to each meal. That's where you start, okay? And the better quality starch you use, the better quality workouts you'll have, and the more muscle mass you'll put on, and the more body fat you will burn just automatically, okay? So lower glycemic starches are better, like brown rice is better than white rice. Brown rice is also better than bread, okay? So natural carbs are better for you. They tend to be better for you than, say, the starches and the pastas, okay? If you have an extremely fast metabolism and you burn up calories like crazy, if you do what I just told you, you're probably gonna find, my God, I'm hungry all the time. Well, then I say, eat more then. Eat more. If your goal is to put on muscle mass, then eat more protein and more carbs. So you have to adjust based on this. You can't just say, okay, what's my template? What do I eat? I mean, if I take 2 people, one guy will need double the calories than the other guy just because they're running different metabolisms and they have different requirements. Okay, so you're gonna have to conduct your own experiment. So start with 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein and adding starch and carbs to each meal throughout the day. And the better quality your carbs are, the more tendency for losing body fat you're gonna have. But if you're not getting in enough carbs, you will notice that you won't have as much pumps in the gym, your strength will go down, and you'll start to flatten out. Once you start to flatten out, that means you need more calories. So you either need to up the carbs, add a little bit more fat to your diet, whatever it might be. But this is where you start, okay? So it's important just to start, not try to get everything perfect from the get-go, and conduct an experiment. Say, okay, here's my training log. You know, great idea is to put everything down in a notebook. Here's what I ate on Wednesday. Here's what my workout was on Wednesday. Here's what I ate on Thursday. Here's what my workout was like on Thursday. And then you continue like that, and then you'll see when you eat more or less, how your workouts are affected and how you feel. And then at the end of the month, you will see, did you improve or did you not? Are you leaner? Or are you fatter? Or are you stronger? You know, that kind of thing. But ultimately, this is why training coaches will watch you and get pictures from you and talk to you on a weekly basis for months on end, because they can't just tell you, well, here you go, here's the perfect percentage or the perfect diet for you, and see you later. You know, they don't do that. The reason why is because each person will have different requirements. So you basically watch the system, you watch what's happening in the body, and then you adjust from there. So just like I said, if you notice that you're flattening out, that you're getting weaker, and that means your calories are too low. And that means that sometimes you can't get enough food. Like, say you're eating as much as you possibly can in a day of carbs and protein, but yet you're still losing body weight. Well, guess what? Maybe you need some more fats, because fats are a lot more calorie dense. You know, so this is the thing. So you have to adjust the parameters based on what you're observing. You can't just give somebody a generality and say, okay, this is going to work for you, and then not adjust the parameters along the way as the person trains, okay? So I hope this answers some questions. Protein, 1 gram per pound of body weight per day, okay, split up throughout the day, whichever way you want. You can even eat a little bit more if you want. And then you add carbs and green vegetables to each meal. And then if you want to add some fat in there, just add a scoop of peanut butter or almond butter per day, or some fish oil, or whatever it is, 1 or 2 of those, and start there. And then from there, you've got something to start with, and then see how you feel, see what happens with the body, and then adjust from there. You know, then when you ask me a question about what's happening after you do that, then I can give you a better specific answer as far as, okay, you're flattening out, or this is happening, okay, up the carbs a bit. You're flattening out, you can't get enough calories in, okay, up the fat a bit, or change the type of carbs, because you can get more calorie dense foods from, like, say, breads and pastas, and not eating quite as much natural food. Sometimes that starch can really get in your system faster. So sometimes that's needed depending on your metabolism, depending on how fast it is, all that kind of thing. So I hope this helps. You need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, and take care for now. Just so you know, I have some music for purchase at naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, and I make all my music for my videos. The music that's playing in the background right now, I made that too. But if you want to check it out or buy some music, and if you want to use it in your own videos, just shoot me an email and we'll talk about it and go from there. But yeah, check it out at naturalgallantbodybuilding.com.